cast of laws. And in addition to his career on screen, he is also a producer of his new company, 3AD, the first of its kind starring an Asian actor. Mr. Kim recently served as cultural envoy and member of the U.S. presidential delegation for the United States at the World Expo in Korea. He received his Master of Fine Arts from New York University. Mr. Kim and his family reside in Honolulu, where they have made their home for the last 10 years. Please join me in welcoming our commencement speaker, Mr. Dae Kim.
Wow, I am so thrilled to be here today. Aloha, everyone. Thank you. I'm so impressed by you all. I'm overwhelmed right now. Congratulations, everybody. Before I start, I'd just like to give a big mahalo to Chancellor Apple, Vice Chancellor Brock, the UH Board of Regents, and esteemed faculty members for giving me a chance to drop a little knowledge on the class of 2014. Now you may ask, what can an actor on a TV show have to say that would speak to me about my life? How can he relate to the feelings I'm going through right now? My hopes, my fears, my dreams? It's a good question. So let me tell you. For one, I could give you tips on how to survive on a mysterious tropical island while being chased by a polar bear or a monster made entirely of smoke. Or I could also share with you the finer points of what color Hawaiian shirt goes best with a shotgun when trying to chase down criminals on the streets of Honolulu. In fact, let's talk about that. What the problem is the chafing, really. No. Let's not talk about that. Besides, you probably know all that stuff. Most of the time, I find that the audience is smarter than the folks who make the TV shows. But what I will share with you today is something about acting technique, parts of which I hope you might find apply to your life today and in the future. For instance, one of the central tenets of modern acting technique is the idea of pursuing your objective. Finding what it is that your character wants to achieve in a scene. What is the goal? What's the intention? Is it to seduce? Like in The Graduate, some scenes are like that. To dominate? If anyone ever watches House of Cards, that's all that that's about. To charm? In the same way, an actor needs to find an intention in a play, so do you in the production of your life. For you, your intention might be to get a good job. It might be to find a cause worth fighting for, to effect social change. And for some of you out there, it might be just to get over your hangovers today. I see you. You're hiding, but I see you. Regardless, it's important to identify and pursue your intention. Especially in a society at a time where there is so much freedom, it's important that you make a choice. Take the time to reflect and ask yourself what you want to achieve. So many of us live lives in the quote-unquote real world without a conscious objective. We're aimless. Don't fall into the trap of leading lives of quiet desperation, as Thoreau wrote in Walden. Now is your chance to reach higher. To set a standard for yourself that you will look back on with pride and satisfaction. Things that can only be done if you have that objective in mind. That brings me to another important element of acting that might apply to your lives today. And that is, you must also recognize the obstacles that may prevent you from achieving your goals. Who or what is keeping you from getting what you want? We're stronger when we recognize those obstacles. Stronger because identifying them is the first step to overcoming them. The Chinese philosopher Sun Tzu says, if you know your enemies and you know yourself, you will not be imperiled in 100 battles. It's the awareness of these enemies, be they human or otherwise, that teach us how to navigate our lives in service of reaching those objectives. But the trick here is not to dwell on them, identify them. It's an important point because if you dwell on these obstacles, they'll only keep you from achieving your goals. You know, I don't share this story very often, and I don't generally share it with 5,000 of my closest friends, but I'll share it today. About 12 years ago, I had an agent in Los Angeles who said this to me. He said, "Daniel, you're talented, but you shouldn't hope to make a living in this industry. Face it, the way you look, the best you can do is hope to hit a single while you're on a team full of home run hitters. At best, you're a utility player. You should be grateful to be working at all, no matter how small a part." That was 12 years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. Now, I could have made the choice at that time to let those comments damage me, to discourage me, change my opinion of myself and my work. I could have let it become a self-fulfilling prophecy and quit altogether. But instead, I chose to remember it. I kept it in my pocket all of these years, and I still use it as fuel, because I think about the opportunity to prove him wrong at every chance I have. Well, you might guess that I fired that agent, and a year later I booked a little show called Lost. So things turned out okay. Now, it's interesting, but I just recently heard a sports psychologist discussing how players in a slump play their respective sports. Now, apparently, hurdlers, athletes who run the 110 hurdles, they say that when they're out of sync, the hurdles seem really tall and the finish line seems very far away. Golfers say that when they're in a slump, that the hole seems really small, and they actually see the water hazards before they see the hole itself. Now, these are all examples of letting the obstacle become so overwhelming that they prevent you from achieving your goal. But when these same athletes are playing well and at the top of their game, they see their objectives clearly, and only then peripherally do they see their obstacles. In other words, they begin to see the hole before the hazard. And if you're a hurdler, you're not looking at the hurdle you're going over. You're actually looking at the hurdles ahead of you, trying to get your lead leg up and over the hurdle as quick as possible so you can snap it down and propel yourself toward the finish line. But it's hard to talk about the finish line, I realize, without acknowledging where you start. As Bob Marley says, yes, Bob Marley, poet and a prophet, Bob Marley, walking like a talk. He said, in this great future, you can't forget your past. Which brings me to the final part of acting technique that I hope that you will be able to apply in your lives going forward. Remember that you, just like a character in a play, are an amalgamation of memories, thoughts, actions, and decisions that put you in the position that you're in today. All of this is your personal history. It's what makes us all who we are. And for every bad thing that may have happened to you in the past, for every obstacle you've had to overcome, I know at least one good thing has happened to you in your lives because I'm looking at you all sitting here right now. Now, the fact that you're here may be attributable, let me say that again, may be attributable to a group of people. It might be attributable to a teacher that you once had in elementary school. It might be because of a family member, it might be because of a friend. regardless of who it is for you. That person who has been there to lift you up, to carry you through the hard times. Those people are the ones that have maybe whispered in your ear late at night, "I believe in you," or "I love you." I think many of those people are sitting in the crowd today. So to borrow from the great Fred Rogers, or for those of us old enough to remember, the esteemed Mr. Rogers, I'd like it if we could all take 10 seconds to think about those people who have helped you get to this place today, here on this beautiful island, as you prepare to take the next step in your life. The people who have loved you, cared for you, wanted what was best in your life, even if it might be no one but yourself. Let's take 10 seconds to quietly honor them and remember. Whoever you're thinking about, how pleased they must be to know the difference that you feel that they've made in your life. The people that you're thinking of right now, they represent the best of you. They will always be a part of your history, and may they never be lost in your hearts. Which brings me to my final point. As you hope for your future and remember your past, please do your best to embrace the present as well. Because for all of you graduates, now is your time. You've worked hard, you've achieved, and it's time to take the best of you and put it out into the world. Martha Graham, one of the seminal artists of the 20th century, said this. She said, "There's a vitality, a life force, an energy that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all of time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist in any medium, and it will be lost forever. The world will not happen. It is your business to keep it yours, clearly and directly." So if there's only one thing you remember from my remarks today, I ask you to remember this. No matter how many billions of people there may be in the world, there is and will only ever be one of you. The choices you make and the objectives you choose for yourself every day will have a subtle but profound effect on the course of your life. How you choose to make a difference in your own life as well as the lives of others is the very thing that when you look back makes a legacy. And that legacy is yours and yours alone. Be mindful and take good care of your personal legacy. Mahalo to every single one of you, and congratulations to the class of 2014.